Houston at LA, Houston's defense is nasty. I mean, I don't know how you can complete passes against them, quite frankly. I mean, it's scary. And then now you've got Stafford, a little rusty here, Brett. Like, am I overselling Houston's D here? Because I mean, they're scary.
On paper, they're the best pass defense in the league. So, they're going to be in a ton of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. And that's just Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, and then good corners behind them. Just forget about it. Exactly. You're going to see Matthew Stafford complete 17 5-yard passes to Puka Nacua in this game.
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. What is going on? Welcome to the Week 1 edition of Matchup Points here at fantasypoints.com. I am John Hansen. This is the Week 1 Matchup Points podcast, but it's also a little bit of a change this year, of the Fantasy Points podcast that drops twice a week and every Friday. It's usually been Brian Drake and I, or it was last year, previewing the upcoming week. But then I would turn around, maybe take a nap for an hour, and then do the Matchup Points live stream with Brett Whitefield of fantasypoints.com and Graham Barfield, also, of course, of the website. Well, we're kind of working a little smarter, consolidating it, which will help all of us. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit. And let's view this as part of my process for the week as I gear up all the intel, all the information. And I'm just going to be pinging Brett for his thoughts on the matchups, and Graham, data, film, all of it. They can do it all. And I'm going to be less of the analyst here. I'll have thoughts, I'm sure, but I'm trying to talk a little less, let the others say their piece. So guys, I'm sure you're ready. Without any further ado, let's get right into it here as we break down Week 1. And we start with the Cowboys and the Eagles. Again, I know it's Week 1, guys, so it's obviously a little difficult. Brett, I'll start with you on an NFL term. Do you think the Eagles defense is going to drop off a little bit from last year? I mean, they were one, right? Number 1, number 2. They did lose some players. It's only natural. Your thoughts here on the state of the Philly defense?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little, John, right? They lost Milton Williams, they lost Darius Slay, but ultimately, they have so much talent. They're so good at drafting. They do the draft and replace model. Jihad Campbell, one of my favorite players in the draft, steps in. I think he's an addition to the defense. And they filled one of the cornerback spots with Adoree Jackson, who's got a ton of experience. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell still there. The bulk of what we loved about this defense is still there, right? And I think Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, guys like that, they still have meat on the bone even. So they could take a step forward and offset some of the loss elsewhere. Do I expect them to be the best defense in the league? Probably not, but I think they'll still be really freaking good, man.
And Graham, ping-ponging back a little bit, when you look at the Cowboys up against this defense, certainly a tall order. Dak doesn't play in the preseason. Looks like we're rolling with Javonte. We got a spread pretty high here, 47.5. Philly going to be fired up at the link, all that, getting the rings. So certainly you got to be thinking playing from behind, catch up type of situation here. Maybe Javonte gets some catches, a little Ferguson. Anything pop to you for the Cowboys offense?
Yeah, I'm expecting them to be a little sluggish out of the gates. Dallas has, I think, the 5th or the 6th lowest implied team total this week. Obviously, Quinyon Mitchell is going to see a good bit of George Pickens. It's a tough matchup for Pickens right out of the gates on his new team. But like you mentioned, I mean, Dallas is going to have to throw a ton here, 8.5-point dogs. Dak has been basically in the games that they've, he started the last years. Dallas has been, top 10 in pass rate back-to-back seasons. I don't know if this is a blow-up spot for the Cowboys offense for sure. I mean, Eagles are definitely the healthiest they're going to be all year. My one note in this game is, CJ Gardner-Johnson is now a Texan, and I'm wondering if the Eagles are a little worse against tight ends this year. They were the best team in the league against tight ends last year in terms of, league low in yards per game, fantasy points per game last year. So I think if you're buying Jake Ferguson, which I am a little bit, this is probably like one thing to hang your hat on. CJ Gardner-Johnson was freaking awesome. And Ferguson last year, John, I mean, I know he was kind of your guy last year. We're kind of running it back here.
Yeah.
He just ran cold on touchdowns, man. I mean, he had, more receptions, more yards per game last year. Yeah, and then he got hurt. Yep.
Yeah, durability, that name is not Jake Ferguson, unfortunately, because he had a little back issue this summer, but they did lock him into a new deal. So he's locked in. I was a little worried about Schoonmaker, but anything jump out to you matchup-wise, good or bad? Pickens on the outside, exclusively Brett. Could be Mitchell all day. That's a little worrisome. Anything jump out positively for Dallas or negatively?
I mean, with Pickens, I just feel like the environment he's going to be playing in is just so much better than where he was with the Steelers. You look at like his route distribution last year, like 27% of his routes were deep routes. I mean, that's an astronomical amount for a guy you want to be your wide receiver one. You want more short and intermediate routes. I think he's probably going to get that in Dallas. I know he will be used as the deep shot player as well, but if we can get like a 40-40-15 distribution there, I think that would be really nice. And, for this matchup specifically though, like I don't love it either way. Quinyon's really good. If we can manufacture some looks against Adoree Jackson, that would be nice. But, for the most part, it's just a man matchup for him.
Anything else, Graham, for the Eagle offense? I mean, it's kind of elementary. A.J. Brown is your one. We'll see how much Devontae Smith lines up inside. I guess we'll see what the Cowboys are doing there at corner. Jordan Lewis gone. They're going to play Bland inside. I do like Skinny B in this game. Goddard didn't get any love this summer, and I don't even like Goddard because I was worried about his availability, but I was like, damn, he's affordable. But I mean, Eagles are just going to do what they do, right? I mean, there's like nothing to say. I hate to say it, but there's kind of nothing to say about the Eagles.
You're right. I mean, we're just kind of running it back. This is a perfect spot for Saquon right out of the gates. At home, huge favorites. No Micah Parsons. I mean, Cowboys' run defense was, bottom 10 last year. I don't think they're going to be any better without Parsons. I think Saquon's going to prove to everybody that taking Bijan, taking Gibbs ahead of him was just overthinking it. He's still the RB1.
Yeah. Of course, I was the overthinker on that one, but I am an ageist. Well, I can't help.
I get it. Yeah. Huge workload last year. That tends to regress. I get why, but man, I mean, I think my biggest concern is this offensive line just a little beat up. It is a little beat up. Dickerson is playing through a little bit of an injury, but
right. Yeah, all five starters are going to be there though.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we're running the same thing back for now.
Yeah, definitely like Devontae in the game here. I'm been eyeballing a prop, FYI. It's like 55.5. I mean, I'm in on that. I mean, I feel pretty good about that.
I would say the key there is the corners, man, for Dallas. Like Keir Elam was bad in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then they're starting Trayvon Diggs, who's coming off the knee injury, right? So like
exactly, yeah.
Devontae and AJ should just eat any opportunity they get.
And by the way, real quick, we'll move on. We all agree, like Philly has to throw it a little bit more this year, right? Like they just can't. Yeah. I mean, I think what was he, 24 attempts a game? I mean, that's really low.
Yeah, Philly last year was like by far dead last in pass attempts in the second half last year, like well under 200 pass. That just like does not happen, So it'll be the Eagles defense regressing a little bit. It's just really hard to sustain that efficiency. Plus, they probably won't be able to run the ball down, everybody's throats again. That'll change a little bit. You're right.
Let's go to Kansas City against the Chargers in Brazil. We have a 45.5 total, which is a little underwhelming. Not sure what that's about. Brett, I will go back to you. My observations on KC, I do think they want to be less compressed. A little Tyquan Thornton, perhaps. Hollywood Brown back at practice. I'm the only one in America who was interested in Hollywood Brown. I know there's only one ball. We'll see. I feel all right. I thought Pacheco looked pretty good. But the Charger D, hard to say where they are. What do you think of, the Charger D this year? Like, what are they going to be particularly good at as it relates to the Chiefs?
Yeah, so this is tough for me. And if you listen to my show First Read, Joe and I spent a lot of time talking about this because from a talent standpoint, I don't love anything the Chargers
Yeah.
D's got going on. I mean,
Right,
it's grim, but for whatever reason, Jim Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, they seem to be able to scheme it up pretty good. However, that defense did fall apart down the stretch last year. And I think that was the main detriment to their season, where everything was looking pretty good around week 10, week 11. Then all of a sudden the wheels kind of fell off while all the other teams started playing their best football. So I don't think they'll be good against the run again. But the tough part is the Chiefs just don't want to run the ball. It seems like, you look at their pass rate over expectation last year, they were pretty much positive in 15 of 17 games. So
yeah.
I would love to see them commit to a run game though, and get Pacheco involved. I think he is a good running back. He's healthy. And I don't think the Chargers can stop it. So
Graham, do you notice? Yeah. Graham, do you notice Pacheco? I thought, and I'm not a Pacheco guy, but he definitely looked like he had more juice this summer than he did last year, clearly to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when he came back, he was coming back from that broken leg and just was not the same guy to my eye. And then, I mean, preseason, he had that nice catch and run, looked explosive, running angry. To Brett's point, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think this defense is going to be particularly good. I think they're going to have to kind of do what they did last year and just play a bunch of too high coverage to kind of keep everything in front of them. And this kind of screams to me like, they played 57%, 58% too high last year. If they do that again, like, getting Pacheco against some soft boxes would be a really nice way to kind of jumpstart this run game a little bit. As for, schematically, this matchup for Mahomes is kind of more of the same. I feel like we've been a broken record on the show for 2 years now. Like, the Chiefs are going to face some too high. Chargers played at 59% last year, and Mahomes just doesn't throw deep. He just dinks and dunks. Last year, Mahomes had a 5% deep throw rate against too high coverages. That was 36th in the NFL, not even in the top 32. It'll just have to be volume based. And I think this will be a kind of a close back and forth game. But, schematically, Mahomes just hasn't been able and hasn't been as willing to throw deep against these too high looks. I'm expecting a lot underneath to Worthy, Kelsey. And I like your Marquise Brown call, John. Everybody's kind of forgotten about him. It seems like, they need him, right? Like, obviously he dealt with the shoulder injury and just was never the same guy last year. Didn't really produce on his, 28, 30 targets. But, I think he's got a little bit of early season life while Rashee Rice is suspended.
I thought Hollywood clicked pretty well with Mahomes, all things considered. They hadn't just throw him in there like week 12. I'm like, oh, it doesn't look too bad to me. What about KC, Brett? Because I hate to say it, no Rashee Rice. I mean, please no Juju catching like 7 balls week 1. But what do you think about Xavier Worthy? I'm not officially in, but I'm definitely not out. I saw what everyone else saw at the end of the season. So where are you with Worthy? And, what are your expectations here for the KC Chiefs early on?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty low. I'm lower on Worthy than I would say the masses for sure. However, I acknowledge the role he has in the offense could be pretty juicy. But man, he was basically just a trick gadget guy only.
Oh,
people are freaking out over the 2 deep touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and in garbage time. He doesn't track the deep ball well. I don't know that will ever be a part of his game. So that's one of my issues with him. But I mean, the role should be pretty good though. A lot of first read stuff, a lot of design target stuff. I mean, I think his floor is relatively high.
I hear you on him not tracking the deep ball well. That's certainly the case. But when I watched Worthy this offseason, I saw way too many overthrows by Mahomes or just missed time throws. Like there's a game against the Falcons, against the Niners, the Raiders, I'm remembering, where Worthy, I mean, he was legitimately roasting corners, getting behind the defense, and Mahomes just missed them, like flat out, like throws that he should make.
I'm with you on that. I think that's why when we see like articles written, the Chiefs are ramping up the deep ball again, like
I laugh at that too.
To tango. It takes two. Like and everyone cites the speed they have with Worthy and Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown. Like, guys, speed is probably like the 15th most important trait for hitting a deep ball. It's timing, it's rhythm, it's accuracy, ball location, ball track. There's so many things that are more important. So I totally agree. Mahomes hasn't been good throwing deep balls either. I don't know that him and Worthy are a great combo. Worthy's got a really small catch radius too. That's something worth noting. So poor tracking plus small catch radius. I mean, they're for sure going to hit some because he's so fast. Like he is fast. When he does win, it's going to look ugly. So they'll for sure hit some. I don't think it's going to be consistent.
Graham, with the Charger offense, do you have any inclination to believe that Herbert will run a little bit more? That's to me one of the tougher calls. I'm not into Herbert, even though like he is cheap. I probably should. I'm ranking him about his ADP, but will he run more? What are your thoughts? I mean, this is not the greatest matchup. They may need a minute here with this kind of revamped receiving core. Your thoughts on the Chargers?
I wish he would run more because that's like the one thing holding him back for fantasy. I think they wanted to last year, John, but remember, I mean, he had that foot injury. Then I think he hurt his ankle in like week 4 or week 5 and just like was not fully healthy until middle of the season. Maybe they ramp that up just like a little bit to give the run game a little, added dynamic. My one note for this game is, Lad McConkey is going to play out wide more. We love Lad McConkey, especially you, John. I mean, you were just dead on with Lad last year. I don't think the addition of Keenan Allen hurts Lad. I think it actually might help him. Lad actually averaged more targets per route run when he was lined up outside than when he was in the slot last year. But this is a great spot for old man Keenan Allen. I mean, the Chiefs always give up a ton of yards to slot receivers.
That's true.
Give up some efficiency. I mean, if you're going to play a veteran, dusty slot receiver in fantasy in week 1, this is the time to do it. And especially here with Keenan, I'm kind of feeling it with Keenan.
Yeah, then Amari and Hampton, back to you, Graham. Like, any guess on the touch percentage in the backfield? I hate to say, I'm at like 65, 70% with it.
Joe was messing around in a meeting a couple days ago, and he was saying that the Chargers are going to mercy start Najee Harris, and everybody's going to lose their minds. He's going to get their first touch. I think that's about right. 65-35. Najee's practicing in full. I fully expect by midseason, it's the same thing as always with rookies. Like, it'll take till week 6, week 7, week 8 for these guys to fully take over. And that's kind of where I'm at with Hampton right now.
Let's head on over to Tampa at Atlanta. And Graham, I'll actually go back to you. Are you worried at all about a little bit of a slow start given the issues here in Tampa? They lose Liam Cohen, a great play caller. He was great last year, that's for sure. No Tristan Wirfs, no Godwin, no McMillan. It's a little scary. Cade Otton a little bit banged up. What are your expectations there? You're pulling back a little bit with Tampa, or are you just wheels up still?
No, I am. I'm definitely pulling back from Tampa for 2 primary reasons. One, Baker Mayfield ran so hot in the touchdown department last year, just like, he had a 7% touchdown rate, John. Like, that is so far ahead of his base rate in his career of like 4.5%.
Totally.
So there's that. And then there's the Tristan Wirfs aspect. Like, Tristan Wirfs is, I don't know, maybe one of the 3 most important,
awesome.
I mean, he can, Brett, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, he's like maybe the second, third most important tackle in the league.
I'm with you.
It's huge for not just Baker's protection. It's huge for their run game. Guys, Mike Evans is 32 years old. He's aging like Larry freaking Fitzgerald out there. He is going to lose his mind to open this season. I mean, this is like dream setup. Cade Otton's hurt. He hurt his leg. Chris Godwin probably won't play till week 5. I mean, we like Emeka Egbuka, but he's a rookie in his first game. Evans last year was still awesome. Led all receivers in average separation score. That's ass. He was, top 3 in yards per route run again last season, all while probably playing a little less than 100% with that hamstring injury. So I'm a little concerned about the Bucs for sure, John, long term, especially this season. But I'm in love with Mike Evans. I think this is a really nice spot for him to open the season.
I'm with you, and I've been on that for the whole season long stuff. And I am an ageist. It's very hard for me, but I was way over Mike's ADP last year. I'm like, man, I'm scared, but he balled. Well, because he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. And if you're over 30 and you're bound for Canton, I'll still back you. That's my rule. Brett, I'm looking here last year. He did have a 2-touchdown game against Atlanta, 7 targets, 5 grabs, 62. And we are not, I guess, projecting a shadow coverage from AJ Terrell.
No, Terrell didn't really shadow down the stretch. Actually, like back half of the season, he was basically just playing the right side there. So I think they'll be able to manufacture some looks for Evans that aren't against AJ Terrell. But they also he'll smoke Terrell too. I don't really think that's a problem. So
Atlanta, Brett, they did ignore offense this year. So how much? Obviously, it's going to probably take a minute, but is it in your mind their range of possible outcomes by the end of the season to actually have a defense we're worried about in any way?
I don't know, man. They're rough at corner. Cornerback, like they're starting Billy Bowman in the nickel, who is a
Mike
college.
Hughes.
He was a college safety. Billy Bowman was. He can't tackle. Literally can't. I actually like Emeka Egbuka in this matchup because he's good after the catch, and Bowman can't tackle. So I think that's interesting. And then Mike Hughes has been hanging out of that CB2 job now for 3 years, and he's already roasted. So yeah. And then the pass rush situation, they've got a bunch of young guys. They need one to emerge. Obviously, Javon Walker and James Pierce Jr. are they're hoping that those guys will be the answer, but they're all under 250 pounds, John. So I think you'll be able to run on this team either way. So I do like Bucky here. I think Graham and I are on opposite sides of the Tampa Bay spectrum, though. Unfortunately, I'm big into Tampa this year, and sounds like Graham is not.
Yeah, I'm with Graham on that one. I think we might take a little step back, but hey, that's why they play the games. Graham, over to you with the Falcons. Well, number one, the right tackle McGarry out. There's a massive buzzkill. Massive. That's the blind side for the quarterback. I don't know. I feel like I had a pretty good vibe on Drake London. Certainly Bijan's Bijan, but who else is Ray McLeod? Is it Kyle Pitts finally when everyone gave up on him? I don't know. I haven't really had a wonderful vibe on the Falcons. Where are you as they take on the Bucs here?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Brett about Michael Penix and his thoughts. Before I do, this is just a blow-up spot for Drake London, though. Darnell Mooney has not practiced in all of August. He's still day-to-day, according to Raheem Morris. I'm not sure if he's practicing today. We'll see. But, Drake London, he's going to project for 9 to 12 targets. But, Brett, what did you think of Penix when you watched him this offseason? Because he's you got to get this right. If Bijan's going to hit the ceiling, if Drake London's going to hit the ceiling, you got to get Michael Penix right. So what do you think?
Yeah, from a processing standpoint, it was okay. I thought he did a decent job, especially for a rookie. It was the ball location that was an issue for me, which was an issue for him at Washington, where it's he's generally accurate. He'll have a high completion rate because he plays pretty smart, but the ball location is really limiting for yak opportunities and things of that nature, or downfield throws even. So I think he's got to improve a little bit there. And the other big factor, because in college he basically had no snaps under center, Zach Robinson basically was running a shotgun offense last year, and he doesn't want to. He wants to be under center. Way more smoke and mirrors when you're under center with motion and mixing up your run concepts, play action. It's all more effective under center. So I'm guessing that was the emphasis of the entire offseason for them with Penix, was just getting him comfortable under center. The combo of Penix never doing it and Kirk Cousins being a corpse with a busted Achilles, they just couldn't run under center offense last year. So I think that's going to be a big change we see. So I'm not sure how much of last year's data is actually even actionable for Michael Penix this year.
I'm so curious for this game. This is one of the games I've earmarked because I've debated in my head it could go both ways. Tampa's defense, I don't know, their corners are not very good, but Bowles is really hard to prepare against because he does so much with their blitz packages and stuff. Penix hasn't played this preseason. They obviously just took the Rams method and put him on ice.
Yeah,
I could see. I've gone both ways. I'm kind of with John about Tampa's offense than Atlanta. I could see them being kind of a slow starting team. So this game's the game total is 47.5, but I could certainly see this kind of being a little bit of an underwhelming spot.
Let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns, 47.5. By the way, that Falcon Buck game had a decent total here, 46.5, one of the higher totals. So that bodes fairly well. This one here a little higher, 47.5. Cleveland's defense in Cleveland is a little bit of a house of horrors for Joe Burrow, but to me that completely offset by how much he played. Brett, did any quarterback play more than Joe Burrow in the preseason? I'm semi-serious here. Among all the starters, but it looked good. So yeah, all hands on deck for Burrow, Chase, Higgins, the other Chase. Don't know about the tight ends, but yeah, where are you with Cincinnati's offense? And do you feel good about Chase Brown? I do. I think they're going to change it up a little bit. I've been saying that because I heard from someone that they're going to, cater the blocking scheme a little bit more to Chase Brown because they let go of Frank Pollock, by the way. So I'm kind of seeing that. So I don't think he's got the greatest vision, Chase Brown. But where are you on the Bengals and Chase Brown?
Yeah, I'm all in on Chase Brown. I think he's good, and one of the reasons we liked the landing spot in Cincy was that Zach Taylor outside zone scheme that was pretty traditional to them, kind of a remnant of the McVay era when he was basically only doing outside zone stuff with the Rams. But then they kind of went away from it a little bit last year, which is interesting. I do agree with you on Chase Brown's vision, and I think getting him in an outside zone scheme could be beneficial, where he can open up some more creases, pushing that corner. Stretching out the defense a little bit should make those cutback lanes more apparent. I don't know that we want him living in an inside zone heavy scheme. So, he's got burst and juice for days. He's got the pass game chops. We have a new tool coming to Fantasy Points data soon. Can't say when, that kind of measures opportunity performance. It's an all-inclusive tool. And Chase Brown had one of the highest opportunity scores last year for us. Like really, really good stuff. He's a high performer too, so I'm pretty big into Chase Brown. This whole offense, so this is like a feast game for the Bengals offense. I feel like I know it's been tough in the past, but the Browns the vibes are really bad to me, and they have Myles Garrett, and that's it.
That's really it.
I hear you. And and Graham, that Chase Brown, I don't know. Maybe you have, maybe others have. I'm pulling in like a poor man CMC role here. I mean, am I going crazy here?
No, not at all. I mean, the role last year was incredible. Like I've been saying this stat all offseason, John. If you regress Brown's role by 25% compared to last year, he would still be the RB5 by expected fantasy points.
God. Wow.
So it's like, you take a huge chunk from him and he's still a top 6, top 7 fantasy runner. And to Brett's point, I'm with him. Like, the vision has never been good with him, but outside zone, point and shoot, get the cutback and go. John, Jim Schwartz is a good DC, really good DC. They have Myles Garrett, who's wrecked a few of those, dropbacks from Burrow, but Schwartz is just smart, man. They don't play man against the Bengals. 18% in week 7, I believe, last year. They were at 24% in their other matchup. So, it's going to be a lot of zone in this matchup. We're going to see a lot of chase underneath, but I'm fully expecting, Bengals to come out and be the best version of week 1 Bengals that we have seen. They had a complete burn the tape game against the Patriots last year. They do not want to repeat that. Got to get started hot in the AFC, loaded AFC. I'm fully expecting, Burrow, Chase, everybody to be in midseason form in this game here.
Brett, one of my all-time favorite phrases, I actually haven't been using it for a long time, but back in the day, get well defense. Your thoughts on maybe the Cincinnati Bengals being one of those this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're a bad defense with Trey Hendrickson, and now that Trey Hendrickson's missed pretty much all of camp, I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be any better. I know they made the defensive coordinator switch, going away from Lou Anarumo to Al Golden. I don't think Al Golden's track record in the NFL suggests we should anticipate improvement here. I think maybe the Bengals like to promote coaches that like to carry their water,
and who work cheaply as well.
Yeah, exactly. Who will work cheaply under budget. Al Golden's been mostly a linebacker coach his career, so I definitely think the Bengals will be a get well defense for sure.
Am I the only one who has I didn't list him as a target, but I kind of feel I like Jeudy. Like I feel pretty good about Jeudy. Like, Graham, even just we all got tricked by Jeudy. I did like 3 years in a row. Same. But I'm just telling you, like I see a much more mature player. Like this is it. Like this is the guy we thought we were going to get. I guess Steve Smith would be proud, as I wrote in my article. But what do you think? Good matchup. And then Njoku, I mean, him and Flacco are like they're like blood brothers over here, like hanging out on a playground when they're like 6. But are you worried about Fannin?
Yeah. So 2 things. I was fully with you. I've been like Jerry Jeudy's biggest truther, and I fully saw the talent, the route quickness, the separation skills, like pretty good run after the catch. And then obviously it took the Jameis Winston scam last year to kind of get him going. And honestly, if you could pick another quarterback to have a Jameis Winston scam type season, it would be Joe Flacco, because he's already done it. I mean, 6 starts 2 years ago, John Flacco averaged 321 yards per game, never threw for less than 254. Browns have always been pretty high volume pass offense, top 8 in plays per game in 3 straight seasons. So the setup is kind of the same with Jerry Jeudy. The only difference is Cedric Tillman is back, and I do think Tillman has got some like legit X receiver skills.
I think he's good. Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's good, but he's not the target earner of Jeudy and Njoku. And that's kind of where I'm hanging my hat here. And especially in this week 1 spot. Yeah, for as long as we get Flacco, I don't know how long we're going to get him, because the Browns are going to stink and they're going to have to try their rookies out. But yeah, I mean, we're just jamming Jeudy and Njoku as long as we can. As long as Flacco's under center, I'm going to be jamming those guys.
Brett, before we move on, real quick, if you need a running back for the Browns, it's got to be Jerome Ford this week. I'm sure everyone is in agreement on that. But your thoughts on Quinshon Judkins? There's talk about that this could be somewhat settled, and he actually suits up week 1. But so I'm in. I've been taking him the last 2 nights in high stakes FFPCs. I took him in the 10th round. I'm like, shit. I like Judkins. I like what I saw. I saw a potential stud. But what do you think of the Browns backfield?
Yeah, I mean, Judkins, I think he's a talented guy. He wasn't my favorite player in this draft, but I think they obviously believe in him. They took him really, really high, John. So
yeah, 36.
I'm not scared of the idea of a running back starting slow, because you kind of want him peaking during the fantasy playoffs, and running backs get hurt a lot. So hey, if we can take a little wear and tear off of him, that's great to me. So I worry this Browns offensive line, as I like to say, has expired. Like it's over. They haven't invested into it in a long time. Right. I mean, this has been the same starting 5 minus Jedrick Wills getting in the lineup here and there, based on whatever DeJuan Jones has got going on. So, but this is they're not getting any better. So that's my only concern with the backfield here is like I think the glory days of that the Stefanski Cleveland run scheme I think it's over.
Yeah, no, they all were, but got old at the same time. I mean, they kind of put together a nice line like 5 years ago. Let's move on to Miami at Indy. And, I'll go back to you, Brett. I'm very fascinated by the Colts. I think this is potentially the best environment that Daniel Jones has ever had. Feel okay about their O-line. Love the running game. A lot of weapons. Talk about how bad Miami's D may be, and talk about like might they come out smoking here? I saw Cater's not going to play. I mean, how the hell Miami? How are they going to generate pass rush, and just how they're going to do it on defense, man?
I love when you start a question with "Tell me how bad so-and-so." That's great. John, I actually got to see the Miami Dolphins practice up close and personal this summer when they came to Detroit to play with the Lions. 2 of the worst practices I have ever seen from an NFL franchise.
Oh boy,
they have the worst secondary I've probably ever seen. They're starting a guy named Jason Marshall Jr. and Storm Duck in this game.
Yeah.
Rasul Douglas has been with the team for all of 5 minutes too, and he wasn't playing his best ball down the stretch last year with Buffalo. So, Buffalo
got Minka back. I mean, is Minka happy?
I mean, he's basically going to be a deep safety for them, right? So, I don't know this. I was picking Chris Weck's brain this morning on this. Like, do you like any of the Colts guys? He's like, I just can't trust Daniel Jones yet, but I feel like the opportunity
Josh Downs.
Yeah, I know. Josh Downs against what? Jason Marshall Jr.? I mean, or Storm Duck or whoever.
Jason Marshall Jr. Forgetting Jason Marshall.
Yeah.
What do you think, Graham? I mean, were you out on Miami, by the way, on their players? Like, what'd you do with Achane? I was in on Achane, and then I just bailed like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the calf scared a lot of people off, and I understand why. I mean, it's twofold with Achane. He's dealt with injuries throughout the entirety of his career, even dating back to college. And then, I think we kind of have the Christian McCaffrey brain a little bit here. Like that calf injury from last year kind of stuck in everybody's mind. I understand why. Achane was one of my favorite players at cost. 2nd round. I thought he just profiled as a 1st round running back. The one guy I've been out on is Tyreek. And I went back and forth on Tyreek like 5 different times this offseason, but ended up like
me too.
Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, both of those guys didn't really show signs of decline. And I went back and looked. Like, you look at the games that just Tua started, and that Jalen Waddle was in there for. Tyreek's separation metrics really fell off. Like, he got beat by Waddle in our average separation score stuff. He got beat in the route win rate stuff. And
scary vibes. It's
like
scary,
man.
It's
scary really
enough
scary.
To like, you know what?
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Like, maybe you miss out a little bit, but you're risking too much for that payoff. So.
That's kind of where I came in. It's like, if Tyreek burns me in the 3rd round, I'm okay with it because I loved Mike Evans. I love George Kittle in the 3rd round this year. I'm with, going back to the Colts side real quick, I'm more with Chris. Like, I don't trust Daniel Jones at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, that being said,
we do have a decent total here, 46.5. That's not bad.
Yeah, this is a good game, a great defense to kind of get started for all the Brett, the reasons that Brett lined up. You look at the games that just Joe Flacco started last year with Pittman and Downs. Both Pittman and Downs were top 25 receivers by points per game. You add in Tyler Warren, kind of giving them a little different element, stretching the field up the middle. You find some targets for him. It's definitely the best environment he's ever had. Like, no doubt. Downs and Pittman have been target earners their entire career. I mean, Downs was freaking, 3rd or 4th in targets per route run last year. Pittman always gets the design reads on RPOs and stuff. Good offensive line. It's just Daniel Jones. Like, he's going to throw a bewildering, terrible interception in the 3rd quarter, and it's going to happen. You're going to want to pull your hair out. But I think that he's good enough. He's good enough to elevate Downs and Pittman and Warren to like playable status in fantasy. Whereas like Richardson, like these guys, we couldn't play them. Like, literally just could not play them in fantasy.
Brett, real quick, and then we'll move on. I'm sorry, Brett. I just want to crowbar it in. You could pop in your thought, but I think we've seen it to where Daniel Jones is like schemed for a whole year. You know what I mean? I mean, like, it's not really flattering. You got to scheme a whole season, but you know what I mean by scheme, like, easy reads, like easy layup throws,
we saw it done.
Reads. Yeah.
We saw it done, and he earned a $40 million contract out of
exactly.
it.
So. Exactly.
But yeah,
working off of Jonathan Taylor or Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley, tons of RPOs, easy reads, like you said. Just get the ball out quickly. Don't do anything crazy.
Yeah,
the offensive line played above their skin that year too. So I think that helps. If for whatever reason you have a best ball Colt stack, this is a great week to start.
Let's barrel through quickly here on the Week 1 edition of the Fantasy Points Podcast, aka Matchup Points, as we married the two this year. Carolina at Jacksonville. This also has a sassy number of 46.5 relatively for these guys. A couple of teams like in the dirt here, but I kind of like it. I like the matchup for kind of everybody. Graham, where are you on your Jaguars this year? I like it. I don't know about the backfield, but I was in a strange Brian Thomas. A little skeptical on Hunter, but this is a good spot, I think.
Pretty much a dream spot for the entire offense to get going right out of the gates. I mean, Carolina had the worst run defense in the league last year. They're going to get Derek Brown back from injury. He got hurt in their first game last year, but I mean, this is still going to be a bottom 3, bottom 5 run defense. I just wish I knew who to play. I have no idea. Literally, no clue.
I'm thinking Bigsby.
Yeah, I think it'll be Bigsby as the early down guy. Etienne kind of being the change of pace and getting a few targets. Cohen loves to design the targets to his back, so I think that'll be Etienne. Obviously, Bashal Tutin's a total wild card too. We're projecting just like 5 or 6 touches here. BTJ is gonna lose his mind here in this spot. I wanted to talk to Brett though. Panthers secondary was one we picked on, I feel like, every single matchup point show last year. Have they done anything to improve this unit?
No, I mean they brought in Trayvon Moehrig from Vegas. He's a good player,
Okay.
right?
He is.
He's more of your Swiss Army knife multi-tool safety where he's covering tight ends. He can come play in the nickel sometimes, but he's not giving them any help on the outside or against a good slot receiver. So I'm not scared of that. I think they've done more to shore up the run defense component, actually bringing in Tershawn Wharton and Bobby Brown and then a healthy Derek Brown. I think, I'm not saying there'll be a good run defense by any means, but I think they've done more on that side of it than they have in the secondary. This secondary is still one we're going to pick on all year long for sure. And I was on John's Wiesen show earlier today, and BTJ was one of the guys I want to talk about. I think he goes nuclear week 1. The line I saw is 73.5 early this morning. I think that's gone now, but I mean that just seems so low for what he's about to do.
It's like 75.5. Okay. Absolutely. What about the Panther side of things? I definitely, I wasn't down on Tet, but I was just waiting to see how things went. I thought overall it looked pretty good. I mean, especially that first game. So I really warmed up to Tet. I actually warmed up to what's his face? Xavier Legette.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he's a huge guy, reportedly has improved, 2nd round pedigree. Thielen gone, Coker hurt. We got a little Hunter Renfrow. But I guess, Brett, the issues there, how much is that do you think is going to slow down Bryce Young, basically losing no Coker, no Thielen? I mean, Thielen was his blankie last year. I'm still optimistic, but it would be nice to have Thielen and or Coker.
Yeah, they're probably regretting the Thielen trade now. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
What's interesting, though, is the Thielen trade made me feel really confident in Tet. And now with Coker gone, I mean, dude, we're talking
eating.
Eating. Graham was talking about Drake London's potential, target share. I mean, Tet's going to be
massive.
through the moon here. So, ironically, they're very similar players, but
Yeah. I mean, Tet looked good in the summer too, guy. I mean, sometimes you just got to see it. I'm like, that guy belongs.
Yeah, his ADP would have moved to like full round if he had caught that end zone throw from Bryce Young, which was like a perfectly played throw. Right. It was kind of a right between two defenders, and Tet kind of dropped it. BTJ is going to lose his mind. JC Horn was pretty bad to start last season. Kind of played better as the season went on, but I mean, I think Tet is just like not an equally as good of play because we haven't seen it as we have with BTJ, but like he's a must start play. I mean, Jacksonville, they gave up the 3rd most yards per game to opposing outside wide receivers last year. And like Travis Hunter is going to be a full-time wide receiver. They need Travis Hunter at receiver more than they need him at corner, and they need corners too. But I don't know if you're trying the Trevor Lawrence reclamation project with De'Ami Brown and Tim Patrick and Parker Washington at receiver. Like you got to play Hunter. Real quick, this is a great spot for Tet. It's also an awesome spot for Hubbard. Brett, that was a great note on the Panthers run defense, but like Jacksonville might have the least talented defensive interior in football. Like they are so bad they did nothing this offseason, of course. This is a great spot for Hubbard. John, I think he'll lose some touches this year to Dowdle and Etienne, but like out of the gates, this is an unbelievable spot for Hubbard in this run game.
The only thing is the Jags are 3.5 point favorites. And what if he loses those snaps if they're playing from behind to Rico Suave?
Listen, it's Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. As a home favorite, nothing's set in stone, man. Nothing's set in stone.
All right. Brett, do you have any thoughts there? Anything in closing?
I do like Chuba. I mean, Jacksonville's interior is they have no interest in stopping the run. Eric Armstead wants to just play on 3rd downs, and Devon Hamilton's not a guy. So you guys just caught like a day 2 pick from a year ago or something.
Yeah, full regime change, man. They're just
it's tough, man.
Yeah, that happens.
Brett, can you see a world where Xavier Legette actually? I mean, maybe we have like the Twin Towers out there, and these guys just get. Do you see a world where Xavier Legette actually matters in fantasy? Let's say even. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, my take on him was similar to QJ a little bit, where it's like you draft a player that's really raw, high.
Right.
Of course, fans and fantasy guys want to see a immediate breakout, especially because we live in an era where that's possible now.
Right.
I never expected Legette to be awesome last year, so I don't criticize him the way other people do. I think the development he needed hopefully happened this offseason, but he's so dynamic after the catch, and he's such he is good at the catch point too. He just has to get
Yeah.
a little bit better as a route runner, and I think it all pops for him. So he's just play a little bit faster. He was kind of playing like he wasn't sure what he was doing. So,
Well, I mean, we saw him improve literally in front of our eyes as the week progressed
Yeah.
at that Senior Bowl. Because I remember going in the first day thinking, "Oh, I'm excited," and he's like, "Ah, it looks a little sluggish."
yeah,
Second day, I'm like, "Oh, it looks better." Third day, I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Then he even said it. So that's what I wrote. I'm like, maybe he's just a guy who just needs a minute. We'll barrel through because, as usual, I took too long covering the early games on the list here, but we'll try and be a little more concise as we look at the matchups with Brett Whitefield and Graham Barfield. A couple of fields here. That's right. I'm John Hanson Field. I forgot.
There it is.
But the LA Raiders, or LV Raiders, sorry, at the New England Patriots. I'm very excited about New England. I did hop aboard the Drake May train. I was kind of riding the fence there, but I'm in now. I saw those quotes from Vrabel, design runs, Graham. So I'm in. I actually think their passing game, I'll go to you, is not going to be that annoying. I think it's going to be Diggs, Henry, and Demario Douglas, then a little booty action in there. I mean, and we'll see if anybody else can get in there like Kyle Williams, the rookie I do think is good. But where are you at with New England as it relates to this matchup? What's popping for you?
Yeah, I'm all in on Drake May. I think as a site, we've been all in on Drake May. And it's not just the, Stephon Diggs addition, Demario Douglas being underrated, Hunter Henry being underrated. It's this offensive line. Obviously bringing in Will Campbell is huge. They brought in Morgan Moses, a nice veteran, to kind of protect May on the blind side. They got your guy, Garrett Bradbury, former Viking, good center.
That scares me, though, because he's not a good blocker for the pass.
Okay, good run blocker, but I mean, it's John. Anybody that they could have signed, it would have been better than what they had last year.
Sure. I mean, it's a number one pick at center, for God's sakes.
Especially at tackle, like getting Campbell and Moses is huge. So,
yep.
Yeah, I mean, May is a really good scrambler. The floor was already pretty high with him, and if we get an extra, handful of design runs. Yeah, he's just like an all-in type of player at his cost. This was like one of the best years I can ever remember for late round quarterback. May was a huge part of that, but can you remember a better year for late round quarterback than this year?
Yeah, I can, but it was a quarter century ago because I ranked Dante Culpepper that year. I brag. Yeah. I ranked him at QB3. He had no starts and he had 40 touchdowns. And then my number 2 guy that year was Jeff Garcia, and he had, I think, 38 touchdowns. And they were great. But yeah, by the way, that year I also loved Donovan McNabb and Brian Greasy. Like that was 2000. I literally got everything right. I swear to God, I literally got everything right. But anyway, that's a quarter century ago. I got cocky, by the way, the next year. Brett, the Raiders. I was talking with Adam Schefter yesterday. He said that the Raiders don't want to trade Jacoby Myers. So we'll see. Bowers I'm in on. I love. Jeanty looked legit in the preseason. But what pops to you for the Raiders?
Not a ton.
By the way, Christian Gonzalez iffy to play for the Patriots. So
okay, well that's helpful. I think the Patriots defense is being slept on. I kind of have them penciled in as a top 5 unit in the league. Especially if they would have been last year, but they didn't get any complimentary football, right? So you get some offense that can hold the ball a little bit longer and score some points. You're putting the defense in a much better situation. I really do think this defense is stellar, and I don't think the Raiders really have anything going on offense. I'm not a big Geno truther like a lot of the film Twitter bros are. I love it. Like Brock Bowers is a stud, but no one was benching him anyways. So I think you play Bowers, you play Jeanty, but maybe Thornton gets a deep ball look here and there. But I don't really know what else to do here. So
yeah, not excited about Amari Cooper.
No,
we'll see about Jack Besh. Graham, is Jeanty going to get 96% of the backfield touches? I mean, this is some skank back here behind Jeanty.
Yeah, it's not just that he's on that same tier as Saquon and Zeke, whereas, his prospects coming out. It's just this backfield. I mean, he could not have been drafted to a better situation. So just real quick on the Raiders, I'm not a Geno truther by any means. I've probably been a bigger fan than some of the people here on the site, but can we just calm down a little bit with the Geno stuff? I was looking at our turnover worthy throw rate. He's been bottom 8 in 3 straight seasons. Like, he throws a very catchable ball, but it's just the decision making is just
defense too.
Yeah, he's just been like super inconsistent with the decision making.
Yeah,
like it's an upgrade for Bowers and Myers for sure, but I think people have gotten a little over their skis here. Like, the Raiders were very pass heavy last year, very pass heavy. This is going to be Chip Kelly's a run heavy coach. He's been a run heavy coach every year in the NFL. He was pretty run heavy in college at UCLA.
This is
a Jeanty offense.
Yeah.
Real quick on Gino, not that it really matters, but my hot take would be, the NFL the college game is not really producing a lot of good processors and pocket quarterbacks. So we're looking at Gino like, oh, look at this guy. He's not that bad.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was like, this guy stinks. He's a backup. Not stinks, but he's a backup. Arizona at New Orleans. Speaking of stinking, I have proceeded as if the Saints don't exist, Graham. But what is your slimmer of hope here? I'm sure it's Rashid Shaheed, right? I mean, is there anything else here? Are you in on Kamara? I didn't catch your pulse on Kamara here. Feels like Kamara's like 40. But what do you got on the Saints?
Yeah, I'm a Shaheed truther. This is a pretty rough spot, though. I mean, if Spencer Rattler is winning this job week 1, it's probably not great for Tyler Shuck. Rattler was QB 41 and catchable throw rate last year or something like that.
This is scary.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw a ton. So you hang your hat on the volume. If you do have to play one of these guys, I wrote up Shaheed and Olave as sits this week. With Kamara, John, it's just all volume. It's the same. It's going to be a volume scam. He was top 5 in expected fantasy points last year. Now you take Taysom Hill out of this offense, who was getting goal line carries, like legit goal line carries last year and the year before. So when they do get in the red zone, it won't be very often, but when they do, it'll be all Kamara. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think the Saints we're going to be like week 10 and we're going to be kind of ignoring the Saints. Yeah. I think that's where
week
we're at.
1, I'm ignoring them. I mean, I did not draft a single Saint. I've always been a Shaheed person myself.
Yeah.
But not this year. I can't do it because of the quarterback spot. And then for Arizona, Brett, I mean, we don't have to, there's literally nothing changed offensively, right? Nothing. But how good will their defense be in your opinion? Not that it really matters here, but they like the Falcons completely ignored. Somebody started talking defense. And they're like, no, I don't want to hear it. So what do you think about the Cardinals defense?
I think the Cardinals defense is in line to be one of the most improved in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Year 3 under John Gannon, I think, is a big deal. The Vic Fangio type scheme that he runs takes a long time. And he finally has his guys. Like, they completely remade this front 7 with, they brought in Baron Browning at the deadline last year, then brought in Josh Sweat in free agency, Dalvin Tomlinson, a healthy Darius Robinson. Like, I think he's finally ready to cook with this defense. And they were really bad last year. The corner situation is really good too. Will Johnson and Garrett Williams are, two upper tier kind of guys to me. Will Johnson, a rookie, but he was the darling of their camp. And then the safeties, Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker, like, they're just solid all the way around. They don't have a ton of star power necessarily. I think Budda Baker's a star, but just solid players all the way around. They don't really have a hole anymore that we used to be able to target.
Well, we'll move on to the Steelers at the Jets and a repugnant total of 38.5. It's like from 1946, this total. Brett, how nasty of a spot is this? I don't know if the Jets score a touchdown. Put that way, I don't think they score.
Yeah, this is not ideal for Aaron Glenn's first game as a head coach in the NFL, and Tanner Eckstrand's first game as a play caller coming from the Lions. So this is not great. I mean, Pittsburgh's defense is awesome, and then they got so much better this offseason. The first time in like 20 years they've had a CB2. So now they have not only Joey Porter Jr., but they got Darius Slay in the mix. They're really good. I mean, this defense is awesome, and I don't think the Jets. The saving grace is their offensive line could be pretty good here this year. I know they just lost Elijah Vera Tucker for maybe the season, but other than that, they're still pretty strong. So
if they do, though, Graham, that I said it today because that news came down while I was on there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. They could even get to a snap in week 1 before the Jets start jetting. It's unbelievable. Anyway, sorry. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Vera Tucker's just had some terrible injury luck. We've had some really terrible offensive line injury luck to start this year between Wirfs and Slater and
McGarry.
Vera Tucker now, McGarry.
McGarry, true,
yeah. It's just
Frank the Tank is like, screw this. I'm retiring.
Yeah, man. I like absolutely have clinched my teeth with Justin Fields. But I see the upside for fantasy because only Lamar Jackson has averaged more career rushing yards per game than Fields.
I know.
This is the worst possible matchup.
Possible.
They just saw this guy last year. Obviously, they thought Russ was better, and they were objectively probably right about that. And then, no Vera Tucker. They've got Alex Highsmith back healthy, who dealt with injuries last year. I mean, man, it's like I'm with you. The Jets are the worst projected offense. It's the Saints or the Jets this week, John. Those are the bottom two teams, and it's pretty close between both of them. What are we doing with Breece? I got to ask you, like, are you buying this Braylon Allen steam? Do we think Breece is like kind of a 1A, 1B?
I bailed. I bailed on
Okay.
Breece. I bailed
Yeah.
a month ago. I'm like, that's it. I didn't think he looked particularly good in the first. I know the role was pretty good in that second game, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just not seeing enough here. So I bailed.
Yeah. It just seems like they want to run a committee, and then you add in the Fields aspect of him like taking design carries.
And are we going to rely on Fields to get him the ball enough in the passing game? No.
Yeah.
My hot take is they both stink. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. So,
well, I mean, you got to say that knowing that Breece Hall previously didn't stink, right? I mean, you didn't think he stunk. Yeah, okay. Because
no, it's post injury. He looked dusty last year, and then I'm guessing he looks the same, or else they wouldn't be so eager to kind of move on from him or go to another back. Braylon Allen though was awful last year, so I don't really know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I've never been a Braylon Allen fan either. I thought Isaiah Davis was a better prospect, and Davis was a better player last year. He's a better pass catcher, but like
he has a couple runs where he has,
Braylon
Allen's had a couple runs where it's like blocked up for him, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at this guy," you know?
Yeah, he's AJ Dillon 2.0.
Yeah, I want him to run through contact, Brett. Like you're huge. Run through contacts, get strong through contact, bro. Like, come on.
I'll tell you one thing real quick. One player I was trying to get in FFP season, I real late and I couldn't get him, but I had heard that Jonnu Smith has been like insane. So I wasn't
no bigger Jonnu guy than me. So
I wasn't in on him because I worried about the cancel out effect, and I do always like Freiermuth, but I would not be shocked if Artie Smith comes out and like all of a sudden Jonnu is like this weapon.
John, I can't believe that like Jonnu just became free this summer. He's going like in the 180s on underdog. He's free on FFPC. I've done a few FFPC teams too. He's on all of them. Like this is their wide receiver too. This is their plan. They're going to play a ton of 12 personnel. It's not going to be Calvin Austin. It's not going to be Roman Wilson. It's going to be Jonnu. Yep. Pat Freiermuth is the inline guy, fine player, but like Jonnu's a different mover after the catch.
Yes.
They're going to design some stuff for him.
Totally. Yeah. I'm really pissed. Really pissed. I didn't get that. Let's move on to the Giants and the Commanders. Brett, the Commander D, they kind of settled into, they were kind of vulnerable early, I believe, and then man, they really have just settled into being solid. Where are you with this defense as it lines up here in this game? For this is not a tough opponent offensively for them to go up against. I mean, they Tyrone Tracy, Russ Wilson, it's not scary.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not big in the Commanders D. I don't think they have a lot of talent. I think they're strong at corner, especially with they're 3 deep there. So I think all their starters have potential to be really good, but pass rush is bad. I mean, it was bad for most of last year. Bobby Wagner's hanging on by a thread, right? Is he 37 now? It's insane.
Von Miller's got
Von Miller,
35.
Dusty. Dorrance Armstrong is just a run stuffer only. Daron Payne doesn't rush the passer. Like they have no pass rush, and they're kind of iffy against the run. I'm pretty out on the Washington's offseason in general was really unimpressive to me.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think on paper, the Commanders are like a bottom 5, bottom 6 defense. Like Lattimore was up and down last year. Trey Amos is rookie. Like Mike Sandstrom is like okay as a nickel. Like
he's 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, they move around neighbors a ton. And, this is just this is a great spot for neighbors. Like they're going to get him off Lattimore. They'll get him on the rookie and Sandstrom. We're not breaking news, but like neighbors, this is like a pretty much blow up spot for him.
That's fair.
Brett, what do you think about this whole Terry McLaurin thing? Because I've had this quote from Dak Prescott like ruminating in my head where last offseason, if you remember, they did the whole drag out the contract with CeeDee Lamb, and Dak was basically saying like it actually kind of like really messed us up because Lamb missed all the installs, all the practice. Like McLaurin and Daniels had this like otherworldly chemistry, but do you buy into that? Like, do you buy into like maybe this starts a little rusty because this is an unbelievable matchup for McLaurin against Deontay Banks here?
Yeah.
No, because I don't think anything's changing in the offense, right?
Okay.
Were the Cowboys going to Schottenheimer for the first time?
Yeah, true. Good point.
So there's some differences there. I think the offense is going to be the same. And McLaurin's also. I mean, Lamb's a baller, but McLaurin is like a baller in different ways. Perimeter receiver that can win against man coverage. That's their guy. That's the only guy they have on the roster that can do that, even remotely. So
yeah. I do like Debo here, though. It's such a great fit, and I've been in on Debo all year. And hey, I feel pretty good. A couple of days from the opener, like he's all right. Like he's not fat. He's fine.
I think he looks kind of fat still,
but that's he just is.
He's always been a thicker kind of receiver with two.
You see that 19-yard jet sweep carry he had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Commanders beat writers have been saying that he's been pretty good. And I'm with you, John. I was like kind of expecting not to draft much Debo, but like he was going 6th, 7th round this year and get him as your wide receiver 4. And like you mentioned, in terms of like, rollover from different offenses, a Cliff offense with a lot of RPOs, a lot of design stuff. Like it's a pretty good, rollover for Debo here. But yeah, Brett, you made me feel a lot better about McLaurin. Deontay Banks is going to get roasted.
Yeah, and then they list Cordell Flott or Deontay Banks as the starter. So like,
oh boy,
they're still not even calling a winner at that spot yet. And
great.
I do think the Giants defense.
Yeah.
I think the Giants defense could be a lot better this year. What's that?
Their pass rush is insane.
Pass rush is disgusting.
It's insane.
And then they did bring in the dude from New Orleans, Paulson Adebo. I think that really helps them because they have a legit number 1 corner now. But their offense is going to be so anemic that the opportunity on the other side of the ball should be huge. So.
Yeah, and we'll see about Scattaboo and not much else going on there of note. So we'll move on to Tennessee at Denver. So it'll be a slugfest. 41.5 is the total. I mean, for Tennessee, Brett, when we're looking at the matchup and using our noggins, like we're not using anyone but Tony Pollard, quite frankly, because I was very into Calvin Ridley this summer, but not this week. Surtain on the other side, Cam Ward's first game. Anything else here going on with Tennessee that interests you? I can't wait to see their O-line perform early in the year, but this is not an easy matchup.
This is a house of horrors. First start ever for Cam Ward. This is awful. I mean, Broncos have an awesome defense, like legitimately good pass rush, great corners, great secondary in general. This is scary for Cam Ward. So not ideal. But yeah, Paul, I guess like where the Broncos are weak is the run defense. They haven't really done anything to make that better either. So Pollard, for sure, they're going to have to lean on him pretty heavily all through the game.
Graham, for Denver, Bo Nix was fine, but I guess it was a little weird vibes. Stidham balling out. But, he played a lot in the preseason, so he won't be rusty. Sutton, boring as hell, but hey, he's the guy. He got getting peppered with targets. I didn't like any of their players, quite frankly, for fantasy, other than Harvey, who I know is going to be a little slow out of the gate. But what are you seeing here? J.K. Dobbins, start him now while you can, I guess. Were you into these other Broncos here, like Marv Mims or Ingram?
Yeah, I was all in on Harvey. That's for sure. I think I've pretty much drafted him on like probably 80% of my managed teams this year. I just love the price, love the player. Expect him to kind of be a rushing, threat mainly to begin, but like mainly we want to play on these passing downs because Broncos, just this West Coast offense, you get so many check downs. Nix is willing to check it down. I think Harvey's going to catch 35, 45 balls this year pretty easily.
You think that's JK early though? As third down back?
Yeah, just for pass protection purposes, I think they'll trust him there until Harvey kind of gets going. Harvey was not a good pass protector coming out of college, but you draft him for the explosive plays. You don't draft him for the pass protection. As for the rest of this offense, I mean, it's kind of the same except for Evan Ingram. I really like this Evan Ingram addition from the get-go, but for fantasy, I thought he was going to be blocked a little bit, but then they trade away Devon Vele, and I'm like, oh, okay. Vele's was going to be their big slot receiver like he was last year, fully unlocks Ingram. I really like this offense, John. I really like this team. Brett was saying this defense is really good. I think they're top 3. I think Broncos are a sneaky Super Bowl bet, to be honest. I know the AFC's loaded, but this team from top to bottom is awesome.
I literally just published an article yesterday where I put out some picks. By the way, one of them was Houston, Brett, to our conversation earlier at plus 4,000. I'm like, all right. And then one of them was Denver at like plus 2,500. All right, let's move on to San Fran at Seattle here on the Week 1 edition of the Fantasy Points Podcast, Week 1 preview, a.k.a. Matchup Points, along with Brett Whitefield and Graham Barfield. I'm John Hansen. All right, Niners, Seahawks, 44.4 total. I feel all right about Seattle. Brett, I'll go to you. I thought the running game, as I guess most people know, looked great for the most part in the preseason. I like what I saw enough of Sam Darnold. Maybe it was only one drive. It looked pretty good. They're going to run a similar system. So I'm okay here. What jumps out at you? Elijah Arroyo probably going to need a minute. I was in on JSN for what it's worth. Anything on Seattle?
Yeah, I like a lot of the spots this week. I don't think the 49ers defense is going to be very good. Their pass rush is going to be lacking opposite, Nick Bosa. The interior D line is bad. Like they didn't really do anything there. I mean the opportunity here with Clint Kubiak calling plays now in Seattle, I think is really good for everyone there. Sam Darnold coming from Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell. It's gonna, like you said, it's gonna be a similar scheme. But I think the run game is what pops for them. Like Kenneth Walker, if he's healthy, should be awesome all year. But if he's not, who cares? Zach Charbonnet looks great too and can operate in that scheme. So I just think you can pick on the 49ers defense, and if you can pass protect, if you can stop Nick Bosa from getting your quarterback, you can tear them up pretty good. So
I think Graham, Niners, I'm optimistic about Purdy. Obviously Pearsall wasn't in on CMC, but I'm sure it's going to go well early. What stands out? I mean, this is a tougher matchup, I'd say, for San Fran's offense than Seattle's at this point. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it's close, but anything on San Fran?
Yeah, I love the Niners this year. The schedule, everything lines up. Right. Like this is kind of a rougher Week 1 matchup. Year 2 of McDonald, and this defense is one that I really like on paper.
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings hasn't practiced all of August. McCaffrey's healthy for now. I think as long as he plays, he's like league winning type player, but it's we'll see how much Kyle Shanahan can load him up with touches.
Right.
At the end of the day, man, it's just been all George Kittle for me. I think this setup, John, it's maybe the best he's ever had in his career to earn a ton of targets. Like we like Ricky Pearsall a lot. Juwan Jennings was a very good zone beater last year, but this is a terrific setup for Kittle, and I think he's going to walk into like 8-9 targets Week 1.
George is like emerging as like the tight end version of John Riggins. He's got more yards in his 30s than his freaking 20s. It's unbelievable. We'll move on here to the next game. Man, there's a lot of them. No bye weeks. When are the bye weeks coming? Nah, that's a little early to start crying about buys. Detroit Lions at Green Bay, and the Packers are hosting here. 46.5 is the total. Brett, you're Mr. Detroit Lions. You kind of said earlier that you're not expecting much of a change with the Lions offense, or maybe that was on the radio today. I don't know. It all runs together. But we do rank a Green Bay defense as number one, and they were way up there before the Parsons trade. But we do have this good total of 46.5. So is there going to be anything different for Detroit, or is it just going to be they're going to run the ball with those two dudes, get the ball to J-Mo, Laporta, and that's a day. By the way, I do like Tesla as a deep sleeper in general.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, the nuts and bolts are going to be very similar. I mean, John Morton was part of this staff just 2 years ago. So this is Dan Campbell's offense. He's the designer of it. It is an offshoot of Sean Payton's offense. And just the continuity is going to be there, right? And then they brought in some other new minds, David Shaw, Bruce Gurkowski, Tashard Choice, to the coaching staff to kind of reinvigorate and get some new ideas. I think the two philosophical differences you'll see a little bit. More deep shots. I think they want to get Jared Goff throwing the ball deep. Jared Goff throws a very pretty deep ball. He's really good at throwing it in time, rhythmic passer. They have the offensive line to do it. I think that's going to be a big emphasis this year compared to last year. I mean, Goff didn't not throw deep balls. It just wasn't at the rate I think they want it to be. And then Jameson Williams, like I all the practices I saw, this is the new weapon. This is the move piece. He's moving all over the formation. He's in the slot. He's playing X. He's out, playing flanker. They're looking to manufacture matchups with him. They think the positive EPA with targeting a guy like that versus an Amon-Ra is worth that exchange. So I said on your show earlier, I think I'm predicting Jameson Williams to lead them in receiving yards this year. I think Amon-Ra will still lead them in targets. I know this is a really bold take, so I'm not saying go bet it or anything like that, but I do think J-Mo has a monster season, and that's going to be the biggest difference. And you look at Green Bay and how it pertains to that matchup. Like, they don't have corner talent at all. They have a bunch of guys that play nickel. They're going to be starting two guys, on the outside that have only really played nickel in their career, which is kind of scary for them. Micah Parsons obviously helps, gives them a nice 1-2 punch in Parsons and Rashawn Gary as a pass rush unit. But the Lions have the offensive line to kind of fight that off. I feel really good about the Lions offense in week 1 here.
Real quick, how good do you feel about the Lions D? They lose their coordinator, but a lot of dudes back here, Hutchinson. Where are you at with these guys? Because, I mean, they look tough and gritty on paper.
Yeah, I mean, they were the number 2 overall defense in almost every discernible metric at the time of Aiden Hutchinson's injury last year. And then from there, it was just a rolling pile of crap downhill with 21 defensive players on IR by the end of the season. So they have most of them back. Not all of them, but they have most of them back. So I do think their defense will be better than how it ended the year. I think their pass rush is going to be really good. The secondary is, Terrion Arnold year 2 with DJ Reed, who's just he's perfect for their scheme. I think that's going to help. But, I think it will take them probably mid-season to really peak on defense once they get an Aleem McNeil back and, some depth at linebacker here and there. But ultimately, I do think this will be a better unit than what we saw to end the season.
Graham, anything jump out for either side here? We should remind people, like, Detroit was pretty damn good against the run last year. I think maybe a Tucker Kraft moment here. Matthew Golden, I don't know where you were with him. I was in on him. I don't know about week 1, but the vibes are good.
Yeah, Lions, especially before Hutch got hurt, man, that they were the best run defense in the league. And they still played really, really well, competitive run defense. I wanted to ask Brett, so Lions led the league in man coverage last year, 48%. Do we think they run that back? Because if so, this is a nice spot for Jordan Love. Love has been great against man, 12th most fantasy points per drop back last year, 4th most 2 years ago. Do they play that much man again this year? Do you think they play a little more zone?
They want to be able to be matchup dependent is ultimately what it comes down to. They've trained these guys to play both zone and man. I think one of the reasons they like DJ Reed over like a Carlton Davis, because they could have brought back Davis, is the foot speed, the transition speed when you're playing off coverage in cover 3 and cover 4. So they want to get back to that. If you look at the splits too, when they had Hutchinson in a really effective pass rush, they played less man. They were a little bit more zone. And then as the pass rush died, they had to, ramp it up with blitzes, which basically forces you to play man coverage. So I do think you'll see a little bit more balanced approach. I think they'll always be a man-heavy team, though. That's just kind of who they are. They want to be aggressive and physical at the line of scrimmage and things of that nature. So
All right. Well, let's move on to Houston at LA Sunday afternoon, 44.5. It's kind of a low total. And I think we know why, because Houston's defense is nasty. I mean, I don't know how you can complete passes against them, quite frankly. I mean, it's scary. And then now you've got Stafford, a little rusty here, Brett. Like, am I overselling Houston's D here? Because I mean, they're scary.
On paper, they're the best pass defense in the league. Maybe you can make an argument for Denver, but the difference with Houston is they have the dudes to stop the run. So like they're earning the right to rush the passer here, where Denver's rush defense is not great. So like, yeah, they're going to be in a ton of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. And that's just Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, and then good corners behind them. Just forget about it. You're going to see Matthew Stafford complete 17 5-yard passes to Puka Nacua in this game.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then Graham, we don't know, or do we? Like, what is the pecking order like once you get past Puka and Devontae Adams for the Rams?
I think honestly, right now, I think it'll be Tyler Higbee, but it doesn't matter, John, because it's going to be it's Sean McVay. Like, this is one of the things we love about McVay. Like, obviously, great play caller, but like he just only throws to his good players. So it's going to be like Brett said, just a ton of short throws to Puka. They'll try to hit Adams deep, but I don't think it'll go well.
A little 2-2 once in a while.
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-2 and Winnington kind of splitting that role. Winnington was actually pretty good last year. It's not just like Texans have – it's probably Texans and Broncos, like you said, Brett. They're probably the top 2 defenses in the league. I love this Rams defense. This pass rush is awesome. The only question I have is their corners. And like, this is a home run get off spot week 1 against this Texans offensive line that we have ranked 32nd in the NFL. So it's strength on strength here. I think this total's just right. It's obviously a ton of players we love for fantasy, but really I think this is a kind of a pitching rubber match between these two defenses, and Rams pass rush is going to destroy this Texans offensive line.
This is not going to be a fantasy bonanza. Yeah.
Graham, what I love about the Rams pass rush is their creativity, the way they're stunt guys and twist. Like, for an offensive line that has basically 5 new starters on it in new spots, like that's nightmare fuel. Picking up stunts, trading, all the delayed blitzes they're going to do. Oh God, it's just going to be, I mean, this could be a bloodbath on both sides. It's going to be fun. I think it's the game of the week. It's going to be low scoring though.
I agree. Jared Verse is like dark horse defensive player of the year candidate. He's going to have a huge year.
Well, Vegas may disagree. Game of the week might be Baltimore at Buffalo, because that's got the highest total, 51.5. Let's be honest. That's really what we care about. Graham, I'll go to you. The Bills receiving core. How about Gabe's back? Oh, boy. So that's 5 receivers I no longer trust on the Bills. I honestly now, because I was in on Palmer all year. I'm still in, but he's such a late pick. I literally do not like a Bills receiver.
I'm with you. I've been fully outside of, you can draft these guys in best ball, with Josh Allen, but I don't think we're going to be relying on any of them for consistent production in fantasy. And it's just going to be a piecemeal. This is what they want to do. This is what Joe Brady wants. They want to kind of piecemeal this together, game plan it together. Yep. I still think Shakir leads them in targets, John. Yeah. But this is a group of receivers who have, outside of Shakir last year, only because Keon Coleman got hurt, literally never had a year where they've earned more than 18% of the targets. Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore, all these guys have never been premier target earners. Yeah, I think it's just Josh. I think we're going to be middle of the year again. It'll just be, unless there's an injury, it'll just be Josh Allen, James Cook, those guys are awesome. And then you can kind of just ignore the receivers. For this week, Shakir is back in practice. He had a high ankle sprain in August. He's practicing full. So it's going to be their full onslaught of guys. I've never been a Keon Coleman, though.
Me either.
Keon Coleman guy.
No.
Brett, can we expect a second-year leap from Coleman? What did you see from him?
I thought he looked good on tape last year. I know the production didn't really go with it. There were some timing issues with him and Josh Allen too, but he's so good at the catch point, so good at boxing guys out, using leverage. It's similar to Xavier Leggett though. We need to see a massive development in route running.
So you mentioned the timing issues. What was that? Because when I was watching Kincaid, there were so many plays where Allen left on the field last year. It felt like was it a scheme thing? Was it an Allen thing?
Yeah, Allen's a complete outlier in the NFL right now. Where like I normally crap on all these guys that only play out of structure.
Yeah, okay.
He's a complete outlier. And he's making it work. But the way he plays quarterback is not ideal, and that's gonna happen a lot with a lot of his guys. And Shakir seems to be the only one that
Right.
Josh is willing to hit in rhythm. Look at like going to the data suite and look at Josh Allen's first read throw rate. It's like bottom 2. Yeah. I mean, it's like Russell Wilson's the only guy with a lower number than him. So I mean, I think a lot of it's just that like Josh is just not playing rhythm a lot, and so but you would like to see that connect, especially for the red zone, because like that's where Keon's going to make his money, in the red zone, catching those 50-50 balls. Well, they need to be like 80-20 balls, and if your rhythm's off, that's not going to work.
I did pick the Bills, for what it's worth, to make it to the Super Bowl against the Vikings in the someone's got a freaking win bowl. But one of the reasons they have the reigning MVP, Brett, but their defense looks pretty good to me. I mean, they got a lot here up front. Ed Oliver, they had Bosa, they got talented linebacker. They got Tre'Davious back. They have a deep secondary. I mean,
yeah,
they're good. They're really good, right? Am I overstating that?
No, health is a big deal for them too. They've had some crazy injury luck on the defensive side of the ball, and like doing a podcast with a Bills guy every week is fun because I get to hear more in depth about that team. But you can make an argument that the Bills have been the best team in the NFL over the course of the last 3 years, but their defense is horrible in the playoffs. They play good all regular season, and in the playoffs the defense just falls apart. So really, it's health. I do agree with you though. On paper, man, this should be the best defense Allen has had to play with in his career. So we will see. We got to play the game still, but I agree with you. It's worth noting though that Baltimore beat them 35-10 in the regular season last year. Buffalo's kind of like Kansas City, and where they just don't really care about grinding regular season wins. Not saying they didn't care about that game, but like Baltimore loves peaking early in the season and then falling apart late in the year.
Well, the Bills, my pick for the AFC, my pick for the NFC, and the somebody's got to win game is the Minnesota Vikings, who, by the way, again, I think have the best infrastructure that they've ever had in 50 years. But we can talk, Brett, about the secondary. I mean, because that's what it comes down to. When Jeff Okudah is your starter, you better be doing some magic as the coordinator. But that's what Flores does. So I guess that's got to be the number one concern. Can Flores kind of hide that secondary, right?
Yeah. I mean, Flores, Jeff Okudah has been up and down his career. I thought his time with the Texans was really good. Isaiah Rodgers, though, is kind of a stabilizing force there to go with Byron Murphy. I think the combo of those two is actually better than the two they had last year. So
I actually do think they'll be pretty good between all the two.
Yeah, and this will be a really good test to see where Caleb Williams is at and his development, especially with Ben, because Flores is a psychopath. Flores, he's going to send so many different looks at Caleb. He's going to all the sim pressures, all the real pressures. It's going to be crazy. So like we'll see really quickly how far Caleb's come along with the tape study and getting through it. Because man, this is not ideal for a quarterback who likes to hold the ball to go against.
Did you draft any Bears, Brett?
I have a bunch of Swift, and I have a bunch of Roma Dunes. I think he's the man. And I have a few last pick shares of Zacchaeus, because I think there's a chance he holds on to that Amon-Ra role, which
absolutely
makes him pretty valuable. So I've got some Bears.
So doesn't sound like you're expecting a breakout though from Caleb Williams. Yeah, okay. How about you?
No. If he wasn't the first pick overall, we would be harsher on him. He had a horrendous rookie season. So
right.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game for all the reasons that Brett lined up. Like Flores, in terms of what he dials up with the blitz packages and stuff, like this is a really, really rough spot for Caleb, because in our fantasy points data suite, I looked at time to throw against the blitz. Sam Darnold, no surprise, 2.8 seconds time to throw against the blitz. Caleb Williams was the second slowest, quarterback in terms of his time to throw at 2.7 seconds. So the Bears and Ben Johnson better have some answers for Caleb on these hot throws against the blitz, because they're gonna be after him. They're gonna blitz like 60, maybe 50 to 60% of the time in this spot. Caleb obviously loves to take sacks. To me, this is like, you kind of said it with the Puka Nacua thing in that Texans Rams game. I think this is going to be a lot of DJ Moore quick hitters. I love Rome Odunze. I think anybody who's listened or read my stuff knows how much I love Odunze, but this is Caleb's going to have to get the ball out a lot quicker, which screams DJ Moore in this spot to me. So I'm really excited about this game. And John, for your Vikings, you're right. This offensive line is unbelievably good. The defense, the secondary's got some questions, but this pass rush is going to be great. It's just,
it's a great
our guy JJ McCarthy, he's a rookie. I'm expecting some kind of rookie bumps, but man, I'm in on the Vikings. I'm very in on Justin Jefferson of the Vikings. Yeah,
there's potential magic here, and me in my career, I don't care anymore about being wrong. Laugh me off Twitter. I don't give a crap. I'm just calling it the way I see it, and I've never said it, but they have never been this equipped to take it all the way. And if they do make it, unlike their last 3 times, they're not going to be facing off against, a Mount Rushmore NFL coaching head like Chuck Noll or Don Shula or John Madden. It'll be Sean McDermott. So I'm taking my Vikings in that matchup, but we'll see if we get there. Well, we'll wrap it up here. A little longer than usual, a little all over the place. I was personally a little late, so we got through it, though. A lot of good insight. We'll have more data to lean on as we move along. So I'll wrap it here for Graham Barfield and Brett Whitefield. I'm John Hansenfield, and this has been the Week 1 Fantasy Points Podcast, a.k.a. the Week 1 Matchup Podcast at fantasypoints.com.